Alright, this is part 2 of your homework 4.6. This portion will include ternary acids and transition metals. Okay, so again, I'm going to review it quickly. The statement that you want to write down on your quiz, your test, or whatever it is that you're working on right away is this little statement down here. I ate an icky white mouse. Just as a quick review, those polyatomic ions that end in 8 will be changing the ending to an IC or ic. Those polyatomic ions that end in ite will be changing the suffix to OUS. So let's do an example here. Let me erase this real quick. We don't need this right now. So my first example is, in this case, I have perchlorate. Perchlorate ends in 8. So again, that ending would change to ic. Hypochlorite ends in ite, so I'm going to be changing it to OUS, okay, when it comes to working with acids. Alright, so let's do a little bit of practice. Let's finish our homework. So my first ternary acid is number 9, and I know it's ternary because there's 3 elements in there. And so I'm going to look for my polyatomic ion. In this case, it's MnO4. Alright, and so here it is down at the bottom. MnO4, and here it is. So again, it's permanganate. It ends in 8, which means I'm going to be changing that ending to ic. So in this case, it's not permanganate anymore. It's going to be permanganic acid. Right. My next one is H2CO3. CO3, if I look down on my list, CO3 is carbonate. So again, that H will be changing to ic. So in this case, it's no longer carbonate, it is carbonic acid. Okay. I look at number 13, SO3. SO3 is sulfite. So ite will be changing to, according to my little thing, OUS. So in this case, it will be sulfurous acid. Okay. Alright, then I look at number 15, ClO4. Looking for ClO4. Okay, and it's right over here. It's perchlorate. So because of this, I'm going to be changing it to ic, to a perchloric acid. I don't know why I used green for this one. I'm sorry. So I'm going to go back to red. So it's going to be perchloric acid. Alright, my next one is C2O7. Oh, and I think this is one that's wrong. So that's supposed to be Cr2O7. This is supposed to be dichromate. So 8 will change to ic, so it should be dichromic acid. Alright, so now let's go back to ternary. Okay, and ternary, this is where a lot of my students struggled because, again, some of them did their homework and did great, and others did not. So I'm going to go back over the rules briefly. So for transition compounds, first you want to figure out, okay, what is the oxidation number for your nonmetal? In this case, we have sulfur. Sulfur, it can be found in group 16, which means it has an oxidation number of -2. I only have one sulfur, so my second half of my molecule has a negative charge, -2 charge. My first half, in order to balance out that -2, has to be +2. Because these, you always want them to equal 0. So I only have one mercury molecule, or one mercury atom, which means every single atom has a charge of 2. And this is what I'm going to use to figure out my Roman numeral. So in this case, I'm going to write down mercury. 2, because that's mercury's oxidation number in this case. And then I'm going to use ionic rules. So instead of sulfur, I'm going to change that ending to sulfide. Okay. All right, my last one, I have PdO2. PD, according to my periodic table of elements, where is it? PD, okay, here we go, it's in group 10. And it's palladium. But let's look at oxygen. We know oxygen has an oxidation number of -2. We have 2 oxygens, so my second half of the molecule has a charge of -4. In order for this to equal 0, my first half of my molecule has to be +4. I only have 1 palladium ion, which means each one has a charge of +4. So this is what I'm going to be using for my oxidation number. So I'm going to have palladium and then oxide. Alright, and that's pretty much about it.